Good evening, friends. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. If you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and this guy right here, Ed Wallace, when we go live or upload another video. Tonight we have a difficult case out of Florida, Madeline Soto. 13 years young. She just turned 13 Sunday night that just passed. Monday morning, she was allegedly brought to school by her mother's boyfriend. They call him a stepfather. I'm calling him a step monster. She never made it to school. This is sounding very similar to a case that we just covered recently, Audrey Cunningham out of Texas. She never made it to school, and the notification didn't come to her mother until 5:55 p.m. on Monday. A horrific case. If you suffer from any type of PTSD or any sensitive nature, this is a case that involves sexual assault of a minor, and it also involves murder. So again, folks, if you suffer from PTSD, this might be one you might want to tip out on. The perpetrator, Stephan Smith, Stephen Smith, Stephan Smith. I've heard him called so many different things. Sterns, correction, Sterns. Thank you for the trigger warning, Dawn. Stephan Sterns. Sorry, Ed, I thought you had to take a call. 37 or 38 years old. From a couple of different accounts, they have him at 37 or 38. In custody on sexual battery, capital sexual battery charges. Ed, this is horrific because not only is this guy in custody and is alleged with sexual assault, now we're looking at murder. He videotaped on his phone, on his own cellular device, sexual acts with this young girl. It's just a case that makes my heart sink because so many things went wrong here. So many failures we're going to hear about in this case to come, but this is in its early stages. Ed, I wanted to just go to you quickly before we show this piece to our friends. She was recovered yesterday after the 1 o'clock news conference. Somebody called in a tip, and that we don't know who that person is, but somebody called in a tip to the tip line after the press conference, and at 4:30 they were directed. They weren't told by this perp where she was. They weren't told by anybody but a tipster. And they went and recovered her remains at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. Ed, your thoughts?
Another horrific child murder with sexual assault attached to it. I'm just lost. I mean, again, I've seen this time and time again. It's the girlfriend's boyfriend doing it to the child, living together. Pedophilia, okay, and he recorded it, and he tried to delete it by resetting his phone to factory specs, but they were able to pull it out once law enforcement got their hands on the phone. And he gave statements, and I'm just sick of this stuff. I'm sick of it.
This has got to stop. It's just,
and tell me, Ron. There's some allegation that he worked at Disney.
On his profile on, I believe, his Facebook page, I have a screen grab of it. I don't know if it's confirmed, but he puts, how people put where they work, he puts Walt Disney World. And again, I just shook my head. Things that make you go, Let's play for the audience, Ed, a little bit of a clip. This is going to give a detailed timeline, kind of where we're at and what happened. But Wednesday of this week, Wednesday night, he gave an interview with the mother. Michelle, Jennifer Soto. Again, Jennifer Soto gave an interview with her boyfriend. And then a short time after that, that was when he was arrested. He handed his phone over to investigators, and he told them that he did a factory reset. They somehow quickly got the data from that phone, and he was in custody, charged with capital sexual battery. So let's take a listen to this, and it will give us, will bring us up to speed. So
we begin tonight with an update none of us wanted to hear here in our community. Investigators say they have found the body of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who had been missing since Monday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darlene Jones. We took you out to this scene you see here in Osceola County live as that tragic discovery was made during Eyewitness News at 5. Sky Witness 9 flew over the scene there in the rural area east of Harmony High School on Hickory Tree Road. Now, we're told investigators received a tip that led the prime suspect to this area, changing a tire the day Madeline disappeared. We spoke to Stephan Sterns one-on-one just hours before he was arrested Wednesday on child sex abuse charges. At the time, he told us he had dropped off Madeline for school in Orange County on Monday. Investigators say that never happened.
We have evidence that shows Stephan Sterns returning to the complex, and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time.
The details just disturbing tonight. Sheriff Mina also says Sterns was seen throwing Madeline's backpack and school-issued laptop inside of a dumpster on Monday. Deputies started searching for Madeline later that day after her mother reported her missing. Investigators say her mother did not know she was missing until she received an automated call from the Orange County School District hours after school. Madeline's mother had been dating Sterns for several years. Today, he was transferred here from the Orange County jail over to Osceola County because this is now a murder investigation being led by Kissimmee Police. Channel 9's Chantal Navarro is live outside of the Osceola County jail tonight. And Chantal, there are still so many questions about what happened and why.
Oh, yeah, we still don't know how or why Maddie Soto was killed, but we do know this. Investigators are convinced that her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, was responsible, and he's spending tonight in an Osceola County jail cell. He's facing multiple charges, including child sex battery. That's just for now, all while investigators work to tack murder on that list as well. Happy birthday to you. This was a scene inside of Madeline Soto's apartment on Sunday. The teenager was surrounded by family celebrating her 13th birthday. And now, her mother's planning her baby girl's funeral, a reality not even investigators wanted to face.
We are now confident that she is dead.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office has been leading the investigation in the search for 13-year-old Maddie because she was reported missing on Monday when she didn't show up for school in Hunters Creek. The search for her turned into a recovery mission as her body was found late today in this wooded area of St. Cloud in Osceola County. Detectives believe little Madeline was killed sometime in her apartment after that birthday party and before school on Monday morning. Disturbing photos found on her mom's boyfriend's cell phone turned him into the prime suspect in her disappearance.
this is sickening.
We're just scared. We just want her home.
Eyewitness News spoke to Stephan Sterns just hours before he was arrested on child sex battery charges.
We don't know where she can be.
But investigators believe he knew exactly where she was. He was captured on camera throwing her backpack and school-issued laptop into a dumpster the morning he said he dropped her off for school. Deputies say video appears to show Maddie's body in his car as he drove away from that dumpster. And then he was seen in the same silver car on Old Hickory Tree Road, south of St. Cloud, Monday afternoon.
Anytime we have things like this, of course, it's going to be very emotional and very sad. But like I said, these cases are very delicate.
Sheriff Lopez told us Kissimmee Police is the lead on this murder investigation now, and they could be out at that scene for hours overnight searching for more evidence. Right now, Maddie's mom is not being considered a suspect in this case. Orange County Sheriff John Mina actually said that she was pretty distraught as.
So I want to stop it there. And I don't know if you saw the interviews, and they're very long. I don't think we'd have enough time to play it on the live stream, but I'm going to go to the chat, and I'd like to interject and engage with our chat and have their feedback. How many people in the chat saw the interview with mom Jennifer and her boyfriend? This horrific savage. I'm gonna hold back, but this is a vile human being. This guy should not even breathe the air that we breathe. But she gave that interview. How many of you guys saw that interview? And how many of you took away some oddities from the mom, Jennifer? Now, I'm not pointing the finger at her. I don't want the masses to go after her because the science does not lie. The evidence in this case, the detectives from the respective police departments, it's not just going to be one. We just heard that the lead is going to be, I think they said the Kissimmee Police Department, Ed, it's going to be the lead. So it's going to be a joint effort amongst many police departments and perhaps the FBI.
FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, will be involved as well because it's usually their laboratories doing the analysis. So, Ed, I want you to take over. Did you see that interview with the mom? And she actually in the interview said, we dropped off my daughter at like 9 o'clock or close to 9 o'clock at school. And then he said they dropped her off. He dropped her off early. So I'm not so sure. I'm getting some weird vibes from that interview with the mom. And I almost want to play a little bit of it. But I just want to go to you on your thoughts of it, Ed. Just quickly before I do that, your thoughts. Well, you know, I'm that's not my bailiwick, the statements by the mother, but yeah, that would definitely be a red flag for me and require further interview and interrogation of both of them as to the we dropped them off, or, you know, is she trying to cover up for the boyfriend, or you know, what's going on here? But forensically, you know, the videotapes are huge, catching him throwing the backpack and the computer into the dumpster, catching the body in the car where they suspect that the body is in fact dead while in the car, and then getting the tip, going out to that remote location and discovering the body that had been there for several days. We got to look at that body very closely. Got to look at the, you know, what's underneath the fingernails, you know, finding her DNA in the car, her fingerprints in the car. You know, that's not going to do it for us here because she had access to that car legally. They were in that car, but finding, doing a sex kit on this poor body, and finding his DNA, you know, in the body, and maybe his fingerprints on the body, because remember I showed you how you can get fingerprints from skin, you know, and remember now she's out there 5 days, so we don't know the full effects of the environment on this body. We don't know if she's clothed, unclothed. We don't know if the critters had gotten to the insects, indigenous wildlife. 79-degree temperatures. Yeah, the weather, you know, what the weather had done to her. Poor soul out there. But they're going to do a full sex workup kit on her, take some hairs, you know, so if we can find his clothes that he was wearing the day of the alleged attack, and then gather up that clothes and see if they can find any of her DNA on his clothes, on his underwear, or whatever the case may be, and then try to link this all together. Right. We got to find out the cause of death here. Was it blunt force trauma? Was it strangulation? You know, what happened here? Right. And this case is triggering for me right now. I'm actually, my heart is palpitating just even talking about this. I have some notes here that I was writing when I watched the interview, and we will play it. When Sterns gave his interview, not the one where he was sitting in the background, because he really didn't say anything. Early on, the mom gave an interview, and it was a Fox reporter. He was just sitting in the background and kind of like looming behind and listening, and that one was creepy. But the one where he actually sat down, I wrote down here, he said she was a happy kid. He said she was very sweet. Like, yes, past tense. Yeah. Yeah. And then he notices that he says that, and he quickly changes it and says, she is, after he realized that he said that. Too late. And his body language, Ed, he was looking away from the interviewer. He was looking to the left. He was never making eye contact, and he was really amping up his emotional feeling, like his emotions. He was crying. You could see the tears coming down his face. He was making himself cry. Whereas the mom, she didn't really show any emotion at all, but she did say, we brought her to school that morning. And that, to me, you know, that just sets off, you know, my red flags and my alarms. But
I know the investigators, if they're making statements to the press that she's not a suspect, that doesn't mean that she's not. It just means that they want to keep her calm and they want to just keep her on ice. But there is also a possibility that she's not a suspect and that she was just,
Well, there's going to be a lot of things here, like the Draconis case. The phones are going to be critical. Okay,
right.
Where were the phones? And let's see where cell towers they were pinging from. Let's geofence this stuff for the movements in and around the time that we suspect these crimes are occurring. So where's the mother's phone? Where's the boyfriend's phone? Where's the daughter's phone? And let's see if we can correlate all of that. Then what year is that, Lincoln?
2010 silver Lincoln MK.
Okay, so I don't know if it has an infotainment system in it. If it does, again, we got to download the infotainment system and gather all the GPS information in there and the movements, dates, and times of that vehicle. We've got videotape. Got videotape in the parking lot in the apartment complex. Okay, and the dumpster. They're going to start canvassing the routes to and from where the victim was found, and see if they can get the videotapes there. Now, he says he dropped off the child at the school at a specific time. Well, there should be cameras all around the school. Can we pick up any cameras of him? Are the cell phones in and around the area of the school at the time that he claims to have dropped her off? All of this is going to be important information. All of this is going to require a lot of footwork on the part of the investigators here. They got to go out there and pound the pavement and get all this information.
Now, Ed and I are not legal experts, but I believe that this case will fall under a capital murder case in the state of Florida due to the fact of the age of the child and also to the nature of the crime. It involves, the sexual component to it, and it also involves a murder. So, we're going to have to look. Ed, what do you got up on the screen? We're going to have to look into the criminal aspect of it, and I have a couple of good friends in Florida who are criminal defense attorneys, so I'll try to look to them and get some clarity on that. What do you got, Gina?
Gina says, Ed, the mom said the daughter forgot her phone Monday that she left in her room. How convenient that is. But again, okay, there's still information we can glean from that phone as to its movement in the apartment complex there and so forth. He accidentally did a factory reset. That's what he told the police. All right. So he's going to be charged with tampering with evidence and attempted criminal destruction of evidence and so forth.
They're going to throw the book. They're going to throw the book at this scumbag. And Danielle, great comment. He accidentally did that. You just read it off. Factory reset of the phone. It didn't work. A-hole. Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a listen to this. This is another overview of the actual recovery area, and I have some notes from this clip that we're going to be watching. But basically, this is a kind of rural area. Not a lot of traffic control devices. Ed, there is not much where it comes to DOT cameras and so forth. But we don't know what the roads that led up to this have. But the evidence does not lie. The science does not lie, and this is all in the works right now. And Ed, we'll get into that in the second part of the show. Let me just play this real quick.
And breaking news at 6, sources just confirmed to Channel 9 the body of missing 13-year-old Madeline Soto has been found. We have learned that a tip called in after this afternoon's press conference with Orange County Sheriff John Mina led detectives to her body. Law enforcement from several agencies still out at the scene right there off of Hickory Tree Road in Osceola County. Good evening to you. I'm Christopher Heath.
I'm Darlene Jones. This is certainly a heartbreaking update to this major story we've been following for you since Monday. This morning, the main suspect who you see here in her disappearance, Stephan Sterns, was taken from the Orange County Jail to the Osceola County Jail. And then this afternoon, the Orange County Sheriff told us investigators believed Madeline was dead. But at the time, they had not found her body. The Kissimmee Police Department is now leading what they are calling, obviously, a murder investigation. We have live team coverage on this major story for you tonight from Orange to Osceola County following the latest developments. We start with Channel 9's Nick Papantonis, who is live near the scene where, again, sources confirm for us Madeline's body has been found. Nick, what are you seeing out there?
So we're on the other side of this field on Hickory Tree Road. We're going to zoom in all the way to where deputies have set up a light. We can see a couple cars worth of flashing lights. Hickory Tree Road shut down for a good couple mile stretch. We're inside of that perimeter right now as we watch them somewhat do their investigation. We're going to take you to our view from Sky Witness 9, showing you the scene from above, a slightly better view. You can see a long line of vehicles on the side of the road there. They appear to be focusing their efforts on the woods just off to the side of the road. But again, a lot hidden from our view as we watch this unfold. Just to give you a recap of what has happened today and why we are here. Earlier this afternoon, Sheriff John Mina up in Orange County, as well as Kissimmee Police Chief Betty Holland, announced that they had good reason to believe that Madeline was dead. They said video evidence put her body in Stephan Sterns' car Monday morning when he was supposed to be dropping her off at school. They said they found her laptop from school as well as her backpack in a dumpster in the apartment complex where they lived. And they said all of that evidence led them to conclude that she was not alive. It's not a search operation as it was a recovery operation at this point. We've watched deputies and police officers swarm different parts of the area a couple of different times, no luck for the first couple, but then we landed here on Hickory Tree Road, down the road from where officers and deputies said that they'd images of Sterns' car from the day Madeline disappeared. They said they were on the lookout and asking anybody to be on the lookout because they had those images. They knew that he was here and that he had gotten a flat tire at some point, and they expected him to have changed that, somebody to have seen it. We've learned because of that press conference that they gave that they came to this location where they found her body about an hour or so ago now. So we are waiting to see.
I want to just stop it for a second, Ed, and go to you and the audience. This is a prime example. If this in fact happened the way it happened here, and it was just someone who saw something and said something, this is kudos to the public for stepping up and watching a press conference and watching the actual attention. And when we talk about share these missing people, share these cases, it was a missing person case up until that press conference. And then at 1 o'clock, when the executives that were up at the podium, they said we know that she's dead. Once that happened, somebody said, hey, I think I saw something, or I'm not going to hold back. I know something. And they called with definitive information, Ed. So how important is crowdsourcing and social media as it pertains to this?
Absolutely, 100%. Just like in the Texas case, right? They people came forward and gave them information. They're asking for videos. So if you were driving by there, or if you've seen this alleged flat tire incident at this location where the body was found, okay. Right. I mean, there's so many forensic things we could do there. Get some soil, collect some plant life, look for the tire impressions, we got the vehicle, search the vehicle, look at the undercarriage of the vehicle, gather up as much information there, grab the filters, the air filter, the cabin filter, and look at that, grab some pollen samples and put them there. If the car has that infotainment system, good, that will put him there too. The phone, if he has his phone, I'm sure they're issuing subpoenas for the cell phone providers to gather up all the information on text messages, emails, and cell phones that were made in the time frame, and to correlate all of this. Who was he communicating with? What is there a connection between the mother and the boyfriend with this death? Okay, and the truth is eventually going to come out. They got the perp. Thank God they were able to pull out the information, even though he factory reset it on the child pornography information that was there. Right. So kudos for that as well. Working fast here. The public's got to get involved. Again, if you see something, say something. Track those routes down. Look for gas station cameras, ATM cameras, 7-Eleven cameras, Wawa, whatever.
Yeah, Ring video doorbells. Ed, you laid it out. Classic. This is Perpology 101, the actual victimology. When you talk about everything, all of the social media of everyone who has had a contact with this young girl on social media.
Social media too. Who did she speak to? Because this has been going on for a while, right? And there's allegations There's allegations out there that she told the mom and she didn't believe her. There's all kinds of allegations that are out there. We got to vet all of that to see what's true. Just like the allegations that he worked for Disney. He claimed to work at Disney, but Disney is denying it. Okay.
Right. Allegations from the school as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly who, but she reached out to people at the school, whether she was talking amongst her close-knit friends or people she trusted, and the kids might have not even knew how to react to a statement like that. Or if she, in fact, went to somebody of authority, like a teacher or a guidance counselor or a social worker, then that's a whole nother thing. We already know that there's a problem with schools. We saw it in the Cunningham case in Texas. You don't show up to school and you're a minor, that notification has to be made immediately to the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the parents' number. We're required to fill out all of these, all of these documents when our kids go to school, emergency contacts and so forth,
Right.
cell phone number, home phone number. Why in God's name was this woman notified? She went to the school at 4:30 and then she went back home. And then finally at 5:55, they made an automated call to her house saying your daughter didn't come to school today. Well, and that's unacceptable.
Right. Again, yeah, you got to see did she speak to somebody at the school? Did she try to get help about what was happening to her with the boyfriend here, the mother's boyfriend?
Right.
You got to look at her social media, start to interview her friends. Did see her texts with her friends? Did she have a confidant somewhere where she was telling somebody in the school what was happening? This all has to, and if the school dropped the ball on this, okay, right. There's no excuse for this. Now I got to investigate the school and the policies and the procedures. What's going on here?
Exactly, Ed. And they're going to, like you said, take all of her electronic devices, her cell phone. I'm sure that this child rapist took her phone and tried the best he could to maybe try to reset it. But if she had a password lock on it, probably couldn't get into it. But as you said, this isn't something that just developed and just happened. He was sexually assaulting her probably for an extended period of time. And we saw her on Sunday night, the day before she was murdered, allegedly, having a 13-year-old birthday party, singing happy birthday to her. We don't see who was there. It's just focused in on her. This is from her mom's social media. But how sad is that? It breaks my heart that this girl, God only knows how long she's been enduring this sexual torture from this grown man who looks coincidentally like Casey White from the Casey White and Vicky White saga that we saw over in Alabama. Mm-hmm. He's not as tall as him. He's not 6'7". He's 6'1" or 6'2". But he, in that white jumpsuit, that made me think like right away, Casey White. I mean, I don't know how many of you in the chat have been followed that case. But boy, that really, and this whole thing about boyfriends, not their fathers, boyfriends of mothers dropping kids off at school, young girls. I just don't get it. Listen, I know we can always, there's always a chance that something bad can happen, but God, it's almost to a point where you can't trust anybody. Let me let the rest of this play.
If a press conference is going to be called to give the update and explain a bit more in detail about what has happened over the last couple of hours. But again, a very, very sad update here from Osceola County and throughout the day. But a little bit of answers for Madeline's mother, who, again, as we've emphasized all afternoon, is not a suspect in this case. Live in Osceola County, Nick Papantonis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And there will be a vigil in Hunters Creek tonight in honor of Madeline Soto. Channel 9's Daryl Matthews continues our live team coverage there. And Daryl, organizers are doing this to support Madeline's friends and her family.
Yeah, Chris, under these changing circumstances, they say now it's time to mourn with the community, the family, and Maddie's classmates.
It broke my heart because the first thing that came to my mind was my own daughter. And I'm sure that everybody thinks of that at a tragic moment like this one.
From a missing person to a homicide, community members are trying to come to grips with what is now a death investigation in the disappearance of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
She had other family members, schoolmates, people that were around her. And so now we mourn. Now we mourn.
Church leaders were planning a prayer circle in hopes of getting little Maddie home safe. But now, with investigators seeing all signs pointing to a homicide, the prayer circle has now been turned into a prayer vigil.
We want to let the family know that the church is there for them.
These are good people.
That God doesn't abandon them because the situation changes.
Friday, Eyewitness News spotted Kissimmee Police outside the home hours after Stephan Sterns, the prime suspect in Maddie's disappearance, was moved from Orange County to Osceola. This comes just days after we spoke to Sterns, who at the time told us he dropped Maddie off at a church near Hunters Creek Middle School. Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
Hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early.
Throughout the week, more than 100 people scoured locations looking for the teen. Tonight, with every bit of new information, the community wrapped its arms around each other. And that vigil will be around this school. It would not be on the premises, but like I said, around this school. That'll be tonight at 7 o'clock. We're live in Hunters Creek. There are Matthew Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
Our hearts certainly go out to little Maddie's family. The disappearance of 13-year-old Madeline Soto prompted concerns about what some parents consider a major flaw in the Orange County Schools attendance system. Madeline's mother says she wasn't notified that her daughter was absent from school until nearly 6 p.m. Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb spoke to Soto's mother earlier in the week. And Ashlyn, there is now a petition to change that notification procedure.
Yes, I actually spoke to Madeline's mom Wednesday night before the investigation took the turn that it did. She said she felt this was a failure on Orange County Schools, that she wasn't notified until later Monday evening that Madeline was absent. That call was actually after Jennifer had gone to the school to try to pick up Madeline at around 4:30 p.m. Now parents are reacting, saying that Orange County Schools needs to make a change.
So Ed, that was my point. Like, what in God's name happened at 4:30 p.m. when Jennifer, the mom, showed up at the school and the daughter wasn't there? Like, why from 4:30 to 5:55? Now she left, obviously, and came home and got the notification that your daughter didn't show up.
Was this daughter? Is this their pattern that they take her and pick her up from school, and there's no busing here? What's going on?
The mom said it. It seemed like it was a routine. It was a routine. Right. So
okay,
I'm gonna let the rest of this play.
And she shows up at the school, and she doesn't ask the school authorities, "Where's my daughter?"
Yeah, like, I mean, come on, Orange County Schools. What the heck?
Hello. This is a message from the attendance office calling to inform you that your student was absent today.
Jennifer Soto says she got a call like this at 5:55 p.m. Monday, 10 hours after her daughter Madeline didn't show up to Hunters Creek Middle School.
That is a lot of time. You can travel far distances in a matter of 10 hours.
Sarah Terrell, the mom of a Hunters Creek Middle School student, is one of many now asking why Orange County Schools does not notify parents earlier in the day that their child is absent. Terrell started a petition Thursday that already has hundreds of signatures.
I don't think that it would be so horrible that I got a call at 10 or 11 a.m. that my student was absent.
Orange County Public Schools says its automated system notifies parents after the school day because the final cutoff for teachers to submit attendance is 3:30 p.m. Once attendance is finalized in the system, the school district says a report is run, and later guardians are notified their student was absent.
I have had quite a few emails from parents concerned about the current procedure that we have in Orange County.
School board member Alicia Ferrant says she plans to discuss Orange County's current procedure with the board.
I can go to the board table and see if there is a procedure that we can change to help prevent things in the future, although with something like this, I don't know that this could have been prevented, and we can't live in the what ifs.
Now, we checked with other school districts, and
nobody is saying that this could have prevented it. But what we're saying is that 8 hours is a long time. If the child's supposed to be in school at 9 o'clock and you're getting a call at 5:55, I mean, that's more than 8 hours, you know. So I don't see why at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning you can't just say, okay, attendance is taken, let's make the notification. Why wait till the end of the day? You heard that.
In today's day and age, I mean, it's going to cost a little money, but you know, our children are our most precious commodity. Okay, they're our future. There's no reason, whether it's hardening the schools to protect against shootings, or in this case, having these schools have some kind of electronic system like employees have. And the kid walks in, goes to homeroom, scans, and then has an ID that has a chip in it, or scans into the homeroom and then scans into each of the classes. All right. So that takes the human factor of monitoring these kids' activities while they're at school out of the equation. And if at that time in the morning when they're supposed to be in homeroom and having attendance taken, if they're not scanned in, the notification goes out.
Right. Yeah. And it's just, to me, it makes so much sense to do it that way. It's safer. It's better for listen, like this woman just said, and I agree with her. This is not something that would have stopped this from happening, because as we know now, as we've learned, he was murdered between Sunday, that night that they had her birthday celebration, and early in the morning leading into Monday morning. He arguably took her out of that house, according to what the press conference said. She was killed inside her home, and they have to know a lot more to make that statement publicly like that. So there's a lot that we don't know about that will be coming to light as the charges against him are, the wheels of justice start rolling. So let me go to the chat, Ed, and ask, do you want to see this interview? It's 15 minutes, and I could speed it up. It's 15 minutes with the mom. She talks for a lengthy period of time, about till 10 minutes and 30 seconds, actually. And then the perp comes on. Let me know in the chat if you want to see it by pressing. Lexi's already ahead of the game. I didn't even say it. And look, Lexi's putting a 1 in. If you want to see this, put a 1. If you don't want to see it, put a 2. I will go with the majority. Whoever wants to see, if there's more people want to see it, or if there's more that don't, then I will go with what we see. Ed, you see something in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, I just gave that example of, a way it can be done. And then all of a sudden, somebody in the chat said, well, I can see somebody getting a hold of their friend's ID card and using it to scan them in to make them look at. Okay, if that's the case, go to biometrics. Make them use a fingerprint or an eye scan. Okay, and then that takes the card out of the equation so that somebody can't take your card and then scan you in.
Right. Yeah. And whatever you have to do to keep our children safe. As you said, Ed, and you said it well, they're the most precious commodity that we have. Our children are our future. And as cliche as that sounds, it's the truth. And if we can't protect our children, then, we're failing. And the failing is happening all over the place. And it's not just, the authorities that are involved in this. It goes right at the home. And
now, what does the mother do for a living? Because again, there's controversy because
I do not
apparently she said she worked for Disney, but that's not confirmed either.
I do not know. And nor at this point for me, what I care about is the facts of the case, the crime that was perpetrated against this poor little girl, and the perpetrator gets successfully prosecuted. And for that to happen, I want you also, Ed, I want to put aside 15 minutes of this show so we can talk about what, in a crime scene like this, what are some of the steps that need to be taken to preserve evidence. And like you went over some of the stuff, but I want to go into that after we listen to this interview. All right, the 1s outweighed the 2s. We're gonna play it, but we're gonna speed it up because I'm not gonna sit here for 15 minutes and listen to all this. But I want you to look at the body language. The mom, it seems like her leg was shaking, or she had, like some people have a nervous leg shake. I don't know if she has a medical condition. I don't know anything about the mom, but let's play this video and listen to it. And she talks about the night and the morning of her alleged disappearance. Now we know she was murdered. A lot of people are suspect of this woman, but don't go after her. Let the police and the investigators do their job. I beg you, do not go and come at this woman. Let justice, let the authorities take care of it. Don't you take care of it. Those of us who are not, law enforcement and not working the case, just leave her the hell alone.
Your last name and spell them both out for me.
Okay. Jennifer Soto, JENNIFER SOTO.
Mother.
Mother.
Jennifer, tell me how you feel right now.
I feel like I can't breathe. All I keep thinking about is, where is she? Is she safe? Is she okay? But we're all a wreck. My entire family is a mess. We're just so worried.
When did you first realize, or when did you file a missing report?
We filed a missing report. We called the police at like 4:45 yesterday, 4:45 p.m. But she actually went missing early that morning, around between 8:45 and 9 o'clock in the morning. She went missing. We had dropped her off close to the school.
So she said we. And again, the authorities in the press conference, Ed, say that they have footage, they have video footage of him with her deceased in the car. So it makes this, and I can understand why people are thinking something's up with this woman, but it's not our job to make the decision, and it's not our job to go after her. So I'm saying, please.
I hope they seized her cell phone.
We know they did, Ed. They definitely did.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
Sounds like other kids there.
What is that?
She's playing, I think, a clip of her.
Sorry about that.
I don't know. Maybe another kid.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way. She said that's the excuse from the church.
Sorry about that.
Oh, a parrot. It's a bird. Okay. So it's a bird, people
We
are saying.
dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share.
You share whatever you feel comfortable.
So she said, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to
I know you
share.
had conversations with detectives. Not sure what that conversation is, but whichever you feel comfortable sharing, that we'll put the awareness out there.
Yeah, she was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school, on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away around 9 a.m. heading towards the school, but she never made it.
What is the school?
I want to know who told her this and where this information is coming from.
Yeah.
Was this part of a ruse that the detectives told her? Because in fact, they knew that that's not the case. Was this what they were being fed, Ed, to keep them comfortable? Because don't forget, after this interview, this was Wednesday, he was collared right after this.
Yeah. I mean, this is total. Obviously, the law enforcement knows the truth of the matter. Okay.
Right.
And maybe the law enforcement did use this to try to fed them this lie, to try to get them to believe that they're buying into their bullshit story.
Right. Oh, we're not caught. They have her on. They think they have her on video. They're not going to come after us or him. Who knows? But we know now. Fast forward to Saturday, the 2nd of March, that they have quite a bit of info.
Said, have you been in contact with the school?
Yes, that they're doing everything they can. They've given me all their resources. The principals called me. They've looked at their cameras. I don't think they've caught anything on the cameras is too far away from the sidewalk. Everything is too grainy, so they can't see specific faces. But they've looked. I'm just waiting to hear anything else from them.
Is this normal behavior?
Not at all.
To just not show up or call or text or anything?
Not at all, no. she, from time to time, she will leave her cell phone at home accidentally, and that's actually what happened yesterday. She left her phone at home. She went to school. But that happens from time to time. She's got ADHD. Her memory, she's very forgetful. So
Ed, I don't want to keep stopping it, but doesn't she seem, her daughter is missing 3 days? Monday, Tuesday, this is Wednesday evening. Or Wednesday sometime during.
Well, she said the daughter left her phone home yesterday. So is this is the interview the day after she was reported missing or found missing?
This is the second interview, because as you'll see here at the 10:30 mark, this is Wednesday, because he got arrested right after this.
Okay.
So let's
So
listen.
then she's misspoken again. The daughter, it was 2 days ago.
Right. She's way too calm and showing zero emotion. Like, I know if this is Janine, my wife, she wouldn't even be able to talk, first of all, on camera. But it just doesn't seem like there's any urgency.
You know who we need on this case, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. G.
Definitely. Dr. G explains. I should have reached out to him.
back right now. I have, well, the detectives now have her phone. But this isn't normal behavior now.
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working.
Oh, she was working.
But she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I was the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. Yeah.
Now, she hadn't been found yet.
She's 13 years old. Yeah.
13, Madeline.
Madeline.
What do you think of her now?
In my heart, I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school.
Yes, Luthi. Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you think.
I don't know.
The friend.
I don't know if she, you know, I think most mothers would be basket cases, crying, hysterical.
Again, everybody's different, but yeah, you're right, Ed. There's just I get my spidey sense, the hairs on my arms. There's not much, but they're standing up, and I'm confident that the detectives and the investigators, they're letting out to the media that she is not involved in this. But we know that doesn't mean shit. You know, that doesn't mean shit. But let's just listen to a little bit more. I want to fast forward this.
Parents, you've contacted and went through every single person.
Everyone that we know that she knows, we've contacted them all, reached out to them. The parents have gone out to search and look for her as well. And we haven't come up with anything yet.
I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook, Hunters Creek, rants and raves and what have you. Did people say that they were going to conduct some type of like search party or anything?
A lot of people have asked me to volunteer, like if there is one, if they can do one. I have people passing out flyers, going to every store in that vicinity, a gas station, church. I think people were being stopped in the street this morning in front of the school to see if they've seen anything, if they've heard anything. My family they're going all out.
Where's the pleas for please bring my daughter home? I want to find. Please, we'll give you anything. Just bring our daughter home. Bring my daughter home. I don't see that. I don't see it at all.
Yeah, well, because they know the truth. That's why it's not there, right? I mean, there was a retired FBI agent who made his career off of interview and interrogation by determining body language and the veracity of statements through comfort and discomfort. He said there's two things in life that humans that are non-sociopaths or psychopaths cannot hide, whether you're comfortable or whether you're uncomfortable. Okay. And if you're uncomfortable, what's causing the discomfort? What's causing that? Okay. And is it appropriate for the situation? What I'm looking at here, I'm that's not my forensic expertise. That's his. But what I trained with him and what he taught me was this is not normal.
Yeah. And she keeps looking up. Like, look at her eyeballs. Like, she keeps looking up. There's people in chat that, I know everyone's got, everyone has an opinion on this, and I respect everyone's opinion. They're talking about that she's got some type of medical condition, that she may herself have some type of learning disabilities or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I'm looking at this for face value of your daughter is now gone for a good 2 to 3 days, and you have a local newscast in your house with cameras in your face, and you're not pleading throughout this 15 or 10 minutes that she's on camera.
Please help me find my daughter. Please help me. Where's the picture of the daughter? Hold the picture up.
Home. She just turned 13. I love her. Please bring her home. None of that.
Right.
So it's odd and off-putting for sure.
A lot is going on in your brain,
so much
to bring her back home. What have the law enforcement told you that you are able to share?
Looking up, trying to find an answer.
Well, can you hold it there for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, in that same training with Peter Navarro, was the FBI agent that did this. There's all these things about eye movements, looking up and to the left, looking down and to the right, so forth and so on. And there's been studies about this, that these can mean that you're trying to access certain parts of your brain. One part is memory, and one part is for fiction. Okay. Where you're lying. Okay. You're going to make up a story. Okay. I don't know the validity of it, but it has been studied. It's been published in peer-reviewed papers and so forth. And that's not my bailiwick. That's not my expertise. But people in the know that do that type of interview and interrogation use those things as well.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who are in like high pressure sales business, and even just friends of mine who just shake their leg when you talk with them or having a conversation. Some people just do that. Not a lot of people do it, but some people do it. I'm not so sure that, that's something that I would be like, oh, this is really suspect. It's suspect that she's doing that. But
but you take the totality of circumstances, though.
Correct.
And you take the totality of this behavior. No emotion, no photograph of the daughter, no pleads, help me find my daughter. Please help me find my daughter.
Holding up a picture of her. This is my beautiful daughter. I want her home. Please bring her back. We'll give you anything. We'll do anything. No.
If I was the news reporter right there, I would have asked her, maybe off camera, or are you on any medications right now?
Right.
Okay. Again, they're giving these interviews. And where did we learn that people like this do these interviews? The West case. Okay.
Yeah, we saw Jacqueline West doing that whole swaying thing. She was swaying back and forth.
The husband and wife were out there doing the interviews, right? So again, it seems like her and her boyfriend got together, came up with a plan, and now they're doing this interview.
Chris Watts with his arms folded, swaying. Yeah. Let's take a peek at this because now the monster's coming up.
Had detectives come out, interview us. They took a piece of her clothing for the canine dog to see if they can sniff her out. I'm not sure when that's being done.
Do you have any inkling where she possibly could be? Like if you would say, okay, last time I went to work and came back, she was at James' house or Sabrina's house. maybe I forgot to check that house, or she played at this park one weekend, maybe she went back there or something like that.
We've looked everywhere we could have thought, and anywhere she would have been. She would have known to wait for me at the school. But we did check where if she could have walked. My mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. I think we've checked everywhere I could think of, honestly.
What do you think? Oh gosh, I just had it tip of my tongue. What was she wearing?
She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it.
And this is not like her.
Not at all.
To run away, an argument, anything like that to provoke her?
She's never done anything like this, no. And we haven't had any arguments recently to have this outcome.
What school?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Tom, any questions?
No.
Is there anything that you think our viewers would need to know about the way you're feeling, the family's feeling, Madeline?
We're desperate for any answers, anything that you could do to help. I'm here for it. Just please, if you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
When did you notice that she was missing? Because this was at the beginning of the morning.
She got dropped off in the morning. We did not notice until after school pickup at 4 o'clock when I went to go pick her up, and she wasn't at school.
So we're going in 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed, you're right. It was
Nothing.
Tuesday.
Nothing.
Okay.
No word. No text message. No messages anywhere from her. I've looked at all her social medias. I've looked at all her games she could have played with. Any app. No weird conversations. Nothing strange. Everything was conversations with just normal friends or us.
Did she knows how to get home by?
Meanwhile, while she's giving this interview, there's pornographic photos and videos on her boyfriend's phone of him sexually assaulting her daughter. Ugh.
They got to seize all of the electronics in this place. The daughter's electronics, any Xboxes, any game consoles, because there's a lot of things you can get from those as well. Information in there. There's chat rooms that she can go into. You got to get all of her phone records or emails and all the social media. Everything has to be gathered up on all of these people.
Absolutely everything, and everybody that's surrounding them: aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, acquaintances. All of everybody, any type of interaction. But I think it's all going to come back to this monster right here. So trigger warning, we're going to be hearing him talk and fake tears. And just a short time after this, he was arrested and charged with capital sexual battery against this poor 13-year-old. Just sickening, disgusting, and this poor Maddie Soto, I just, my heart just breaks for her and for everybody who was around her that truly did care for her. So here we go. We're going to take a listen.
Wait, just before you get started, he's had to have done this to other kids. Okay. How long is he with this woman in this family?
It said several years.
Yeah, but he has to have done this before. He has, typically if you deal in child pornography and all that stuff, you have a lot of porn. Okay. Yeah. And it's saved.
Develops overnight.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to be looking at other kids that he may have been involved with. So we got to do deeper dive into this guy and, previous girlfriends, previous children he may have been around.
Every contact that this guy has had. every interaction, every person. Who was he with, like you said, prior to this? Who was his girlfriends? Who was his acquaintances? Who did he go around?
Where did he work? Okay. Was he around children? Did he have access to children?
I think just like what we saw in Rex Heuermann, he was messaging hundreds of prostitutes, hundreds of sex workers. I feel like we're going to see similar behavior from a pedophile like this. So let's go right into it, and then let's get ready to wrap this up.
All right. The first question is if I can get your first and last name and spell them both out for me.
Stephan Sterns, Stephan Sterns.
So Stephan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. So
he asked him to tell him why they were emotional, and he went right into the story.
And we saw it.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said, thanks. Love you too. That was it.
That's the cover story. She was asleep instead of being dead.
I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she can be. We're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
Hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been a lot stronger than me. She's been holding it together really well. And, but it just keeps coming in waves. This reality keeps hitting. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you, like, literally put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off. And we looked all up and down the road, all along communities, and there was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it.
Who's they? The church or the police?
Yeah, he's not being specific. I just want to show quickly. Let me just put myself solo screen. So this is his profile from his Facebook, and it says right here, cast member at Walt Disney World, and then he lists a couple of other things. I don't even want to go. It's it shows where he lives, and he's got 207 friends. Every person on this friends list is going to be looked at, questioned, and so forth. I have a whole bunch of stuff saved. I want to play just a little bit more of this, but I don't want to play too much because I want to wrap it up. Ed, thank you for that message. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to put you on full screen, and then I'm going to pull up this barbaric pedophile. We have the arrest affidavit when he was arrested. And again, I'm going to trigger warn you guys. This arrest affidavit is gross. It's grotesque. Yeah, I see the pictures of him with the glasses. There's a ton of pictures on his profile. Here's one, another one. You could go over to Facebook and look at it. It's a major trigger warning. What I'm going to read to you guys, but let's just play just another minute of this.
Footage and not much else.
Does it seem like she walked west, east?
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbally, language, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She had a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she was just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl.
She was very
She brings
sweet.
a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is king.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is. Sorry. It's hard.
I'm gonna be fine. Don't need to apologize. What do you want our viewers to know when they see this?
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we.
Please be nice to her. She was a sweet, kind girl. Yeah, because
even my Kara knows he's full of shit.
Yeah, Kara is not happy with this piece of garbage. So Ed, I wanted to just go to you on crime scene, and then we're going to go. You know what? We'll do the crime scene. We'll finish with the crime scene. Ed is an expert as it pertains to forensics and crime scene and evidence preservation. He worked as a first grade. That's the highest level of detectives, the most knowledgeable detectives in the NYPD, the most training. He is a CSI expert, and he's processed over 2,700 crime scenes in his career. And he now teaches at LSU, for LSU across the world, across the globe. So we're going to go to Ed in a minute. I want to just pull up the arrest affidavit, and I got to warn you, I'm going to read this damn thing. The reason I'm reading it is because I want you guys to know how much of a savage, how much of a monster this guy is. And this is going to take a lot for me to read this because it's got some strong language in it. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'm going to try to make it a little bit bigger. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see this as well. That's about as big as I can make it. Just put a 1 in the chat if you could see this. This is from local police department in Kissimmee, in Florida. So it's an emergency warrant request cover sheet, and these are standard when you have, charges that you need to place on somebody really quick. And here is just the legal verbiage. And again, I'm going to say, Donna, I kind of agree with you on this. Hold on a second. Where is that? Where is that message? There it is. I would vote for Ed if he was running for president.
I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm not a politician, and I'd lose my mind after uncovering everything I see there.
All right, so this is the emergency arrest warrant, and this is just the application part. I'm not going to read all the application part. Page 1 of 3, and this is the state of Florida against the perp. It gives his date of birth, 4/25/1986. So that makes him 37 years old. Gives his address, gives it scars, social security number, driver's license, so forth. Pedigree. So it lists out the charges in the state of Florida. C1 is sexual battery, and it names the victim here. And then in C2 says possession of material sexual performance, possession of material sexual performance by a child. Okay, so the detective swears out to his ID, sworn law enforcement professional, city of Florida. Your affidavit is as his official duties. He's come to investigate on February 26th, 2024, which, if my calculations are right, that is Monday. Yeah, 26th at 20 hours, which is 8 o'clock. Blank was reported missing. This is our victim, was reported missing by her mother. The mother advised her daughter's stepfather. They're referring to him as stepfather. I refer to him as a step monster. Stephan Sterns picked her up from her home and dropped her off at Hunters Creek Middle School, 13400 Town Loop Boulevard, Orlando, Florida, on February 26th. The mother then went to pick her up from school at dismissal time, and she never showed to school. An interview was conducted with the perp, who advised he picked up and dropped off our victim in front of the Peace United Methodist Preschool at the location, which was down the street from a school. He's saying he dropped her off down the street from a school. Why in God's name would you drop her off at the United Methodist Preschool, which is down the street from the school, at 0840 hours? That's 8:40 in the morning. Hunter Creek Middle School begins class at 9:30, and that's when he talked about I dropped her off early. A license plate reader, which, Ed, we talked about this on the rural roads, they're not really readily available, but on some of the more heavily traveled roads, they have them. So a license plate reader captured his vehicle with a Florida tag, driving with our victim. During the interview with the perpetrator, he provided consent to search his phone. However, he stated he accidentally performed a factory reset of his phone on February 26, 2024, the same day when Maddie went missing. Convenient, right, Ed?
Oh yeah, total bullshit.
Total bullshit. This guy's a piece of human garbage. And you know what? I hope that the inmates, wherever he is, get word of what he's alleged to have done and show no mercy. This guy's the most vile human being. After an extensive canvass of the area and interviews with Maddie's family and friends, it was unusual for Maddie to be dropped off down the street from the school and not stay in communication with her family and friends. Phone conveniently left at home. Upon reviewing the content of Stephan's phone, several images, and again, here's the warning, folks, several images on the perpetrator's phone, there are several images and videos were located which depicted our victim's breasts, vagina, and anal openings as the focal point of the pictures and videos. There were also pictures and videos depicting our victim, her vagina and mouth being penetrated by the perpetrator's penis. As such, the files depict that sexual performance of a child. Probable cause is believed that Stephan was in possession of materials depicting sexual performance of a child. Disgusting and despicable. It should be noted that the penis observed penetrating our victim had a distinct marking on it, which consisted of a bright pinkish colored skin below the head of the penis until approximately a quarter of the length down the shaft of the penis. Several other pictures capturing this distinct pattern were observed on his phone. Further, as your complainant was reviewing the pictures and videos, I was observing several different pieces of clothing to include the pattern, underwear, shirts, and blankets and sheets. And a big part of this is redacted. I'm sure this is making reference towards our victim and maybe her living area or whatever the case may be, but a big section of this is redacted. Based on the totality of the circumstances, probable cause to believe it committed sexual battery. Detective Brian Moore, Shield 804. So he swore to this. He swore out this affidavit before the judge, and they issued the arrest warrant. And there's the arrest warrant. Official signed by the judge, and then they went and made the collar. Ed, your thoughts?
You know, I don't want to say my actual thoughts, but you know, karma is a bitch, and he is going to get his.
He doesn't have a criminal history, and as you said, karma is a bitch. What goes around comes around, and this guy is not going to be well received in the criminal justice system, and especially county jails. He's not in a prison. He's in a county jail with a bunch of bad guys, and they're not going to take well to when this circulates. And we know from our prison experts that we had on in the past, Anthony Ganji from Tier Talk, we had Jumpsuit Pablo on with us, who was a prisoner himself. He spent 10 years in South Carolina prisons. He said that inmates do not like pedophiles. They don't like child murderers and rapists of children.
Short eyes.
So, yeah, I don't think he'll do well there.
He's got other victims out there. He's got other victims. We got to find them. We got to find who these victims are, and slap on some more charges to this guy. We got to get these children help. So I'd be looking at where he lived. A history of where he lived around Florida or other states, and see if there's any missing children, that could be associated with this. And
hey, Ed, I just noticed something. I hate to cut you off because I love when you're giving your info. I looked at the affidavit real quick while you were talking, because I didn't look at this last page, and I was looking at it, and look here. It says that on or between 3/20 of 2022 and 12/3 of 2023. Complaint presented to me, Honorable Judge Osceola County, wherein it is in violation of state. Alleged that on or between March 20th of 2022 to December 3rd, 2023, maybe they had data.
The photos have metadata, and so they're time stamped.
So they got the timestamps and the data from his phone, and this is that time range. But I'm sure that maybe, and I'm thinking outside the box here, maybe she was threatening to go public with this and tell on him, and this was his answer to silence her. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but that could be an extreme possibility that this savage was going to get exposed, and this young girl made it known to him that she was going to say something.
Since we brought this up about the metadata in the photograph, okay, if she didn't have her GPS location shut off on the phone, that GPS data is also in the metadata of the photograph, so they can know where the photograph was actually taken at the time of these attacks.
Right. Yeah. And there's more to the story, but this, again, I skimmed through this quick, and I didn't look at that last page, and I see it. And now I got like 5 messages on my phone. One from Dawn Marie, one from Tina, one from, so there's a bunch of messages. And I even got a direct message from Sleuthy Goosey. She sent me the information about that. So thank you, ladies, for also pointing that out. I was reading it at the last page as you were talking, and that's why I kind of interrupted. Let's go to the messages. For those of you who are new here, I see there's quite a few people in the chat. If you're not yet subscribed, Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired NYPD detectives. Ed is a crime scene and forensic expert. And if you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and becoming a part of this community. Kimberly Culp, thank you for being a member for 17 months. She says she loves you guys. Triggered, thank you for becoming a member. Claire D, thank you for the $5 super chat. She said the detailed 3rd-page warrant was horrific and disgusting, heartbreaking. Absolutely. I agree. Mystique, thank you for being here for over 11 months. My all-time favorite true crime group, Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed. Thank you. Kimberly, thank you for the generous $20 super chat. She says, you guys are the best. Love you and Ed for all you do. We appreciate it. Hillary, thank you for becoming a member. Angel P, member for 4 months. Thank you, DutyRon and Ed. Well, thank you. Stacy, thank you both for all you do. We appreciate you. Susan, thank you for becoming a member. Miss Klepper, thank you for becoming a new member. Sleuthy Fairy, Bushfolk, sends in $2 and says, beware of anyone too interested in your child. Yeah, that's one of the best super chat messages we got all night right there. That is so true. Susan King, thank you for being a member and also for the super chat. It breaks me to see this poor child's mother comforting that pervert. Yeah, she goes on in that interview to hug him and comfort him. Despicable. She looks like a high school kid who's caught smoking. Made an action. So I'm trying to laugh. I'm not sure what that meant, but thank you for the super chat. I'll look at that later. Liz G, she knows the phone was left behind. Why would she check to see if she played any games? Why would she check to see if she played any games? She made a reference to that. She checked to see if she played any games.
She checked the social media. She checked it. That was her alleged story about looking for her.
Ended Melendez, thank you for caring, guys. Thank you for being here and being a part of the community. Cake Boo, may he get jailhouse justice. Piece of shit scumbag. Absolutely. Look who's there. Empanada Queen.
But wait, but wait, there's more. Don't do anything. Okay. She also put this on here. And the other day when we were doing the Troconis case yesterday, right? I spoke about when she popped up, Sarge popped up, and I said, where's my empanadas? Somebody actually thought I was making some kind of ethnic joke because of Michelle Troconis being Hispanic.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
I said, no. She makes empanadas and she sells them now. And she made Ron some, and I was like, where's mine?
Share with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I caught that exchange. That was some people were going crazy with that. Thank you for the $10, Rochella. I was thinking the same thing. She threatened to expose, and he wasn't having that. Always appreciate you and Ed. May justice be served. Amen. Amen to that. Thank you for your support. Southern Charm, thank you for gifting a membership. And guess what? By the way, I'm going to gift out some memberships right now. So if you want to receive a free membership, make sure you give the thumbs up, subscribe to our community, and put a 1 in the chat. And we will scan the chat and give thanks. And we're going to shower you with some love. And thank you all for being here on your Saturday evening. Laura Kang, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate the support. Bama Sin, I haven't seen her in a while. Good to see you. Member for 10 months. Thank you, DutyRon and Ed, for the coverage. Lady Trucker, who was on with us, guess what? She was doing all of her loads and drop-offs, and I think she was in California yesterday, and she was in the chat for a great long period of time. Thank you for being an all-over-the-road trucker and bringing goods and services to our for us to consume. So Lady Trucker 62, I salute you and I thank you. And look at that generous super chat, Ed, $50. Just because he deletes and resets, they can recover the images and data.
And don't forget the cloud.
Yeah.
Right? All that stuff is up in the cloud.
If it's not an iOS device, it could be the Google Cloud, Google Photos, and so forth. Sassy Pants sends in the $10, and she says, definitely need Dr. G for body language. Retired FBI agent Janine Driver to give some insight, especially on the mother's boyfriend. Her eyes seem to, body language, her eyes seem to have a lot to say. My heart breaks for beautiful Madeline. Yeah, so sad. Sassy Pants, thank you for the $10. Oh, I'm being redundant now. All right, that's everything. Ed, I'm gonna play the press conference. This was from, and I'm only gonna play a short period of it while I scan the chat and give away some free memberships. So this was the police chief letting everybody know that they knew that Madeline Soto was dead, and that was shocking in itself. But then right after this press conference, the tip came in, and they were led directly to her remains on the side of the road.
Our community. I wish we were here to tell you that we have found Madeline, but we have not found her. Last night, detectives from the Kissimmee Police Department met with Madeline's mother, and they had to tell her the very devastating news that although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead. So our efforts will be focused on recovering Madeline. Dozens and dozens of detectives, crime analysts, and specialized team members have been working nonstop and following up on every single lead and every shred of evidence. Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off on the morning of February 26th near her school. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephan Sterns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day. We have video evidence that shows Stephan Sterns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26th. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephan Sterns returning to the complex and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time. As a result of that, although the initial missing persons investigation started in Orange County, the Kissimmee Police Department will now be taking over the investigation and will become the lead agency. And of course, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, all of our support personnel will be available and will still be assisting in this investigation. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Holland from the Kissimmee Police Department. Chief?
And this is the lead agency, right, Ed?
Yes.
Thank you for being here. As Sheriff Mina said, this is still an active and ongoing investigation, and there is a lot of additional information that we cannot release at this time. I do want to note that Stephan Sterns was transported from the Orange County Jail to the Osceola County Jail, where he is being held on capital sexual battery charges filed by the Kissimmee Police detectives. Right now, our top priority is recovering Madeline. We are still appealing to our community for its help in this case. Please share this crime line bulletin on my right of Stephan Sterns. He was last seen driving a silver 2010 Lincoln MKZ.
All right, I'm going to stop it because it's not valid. Obviously, this is older information, but I wanted you to the audience to see how this quickly developed. And that was Friday, just a day ago at 1 p.m. Eastern. By 4:30, they were directed to Madeline's body. So, and that's coming from public crowdsourced information. So kudos to whoever put that tip in, whoever called that tip in. Thank God that you were able to direct and step up to the plate. So if you see something, say something. It's a great, great thing when the public can help law enforcement get to justice. And this girl, God only knows the horror that she had to endure from 3/20 of 22 leading up until the end of this year, in 2023, leading into 2024. I just can't even imagine. We're going to hear so much more about it. We're going to cover it. Ed, we didn't get to the crime scene aspect, but we'll save that for another show. You basically talked a little bit about it. Could you just do a quick overview of some of the things that they would do in a situation like this in a condensed version, and we'll wrap it up?
Yeah, I'd get a warrant for the apartment, get in there, get into her room, in his room. I'd be tearing that place apart, looking for other child pornography stuff. I'd be searching her room with an alternate light source, looking for signs of possible body fluids, seminal, vaginal, whatever the case may be, that could link him to any sexual assaults he may have committed in there. I would be looking at her sheets and her bed and everything like that as well, searching all of that and gathering up information on that. And if I find anything of value, I can do some presumptive field tests for seminal fluids beyond the alternate light source. And then once I have that, collect everything in paper, get it to the lab, and see if we can connect him to a sexual assault in the bedroom. I'd be looking at all their electronics. I'd be seizing all their electronics, any laptops, any desktops. I'd be taking all of it. I'd be taking all the phones. I'd be seizing the car. I'd be taking the car back and tearing the car apart, interior, exterior, underneath. As I said earlier, going to the scene, I'd be pulling soil samples, indigenous plant life. I'd be looking at the body, looking for insects around the body. We have a pretty good idea about the time of death here. I'd be looking at him to see if he's got any scratches on anywhere on his body from her trying to defend herself, maybe from an assault. I'd be bagging her hands to look underneath the fingernails to see if she's got any of his skin cells underneath there, and blood possibly from trying to defend herself. Also looking for broken nails and things like that. Obviously, the post-mortem examination and the cause and manner of death is going to be huge. There's just so much that we can do here. Try to get that car on scene, get some tire impressions in the soil or whatever the case may be, get the infotainment system if that 2010 has it. I believe it should, but we might be on the fringe there with that, but it's a Lincoln, so it's a high-end car. So I would look at that. Yeah. There's just so much I could do here, and I'm trying to connect everything.
With her being out there for that many days, 5 days in the Florida sun, and I hate to bring this up, but I have to. When it comes to decomposition with the heat and the indigenous wildlife that you talked about, we don't know the exact types of critters that are out there. When they do and again, God, please, God forgive me. But when they do this rape kit on this 13-year-old girl, she just turned 13 years old, what could still be remaining there if, God forbid, he did sexually assault her and his, semen or anything? Would that still be there, Ed? And I again, God, please forgive me for asking this, but is that
trigger alert? All right, trigger alert. A lot of that stuff is protected because it's internal.
Mm.
Okay, so if they're, I don't want to get graphic. I really don't, but
No.
You understand what I'm saying. So if there was any body fluids exchange internally, that stuff should still be there.
Okay. I want to show too quickly in this interview, he puts his hand up to his face and it looks like there's a scratch by his ring finger. And I think that is his left hand, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just put this up on the screen. I'll go large with it, but right here. And then again, this is some days later, but not many. I see a little either bruise or scratch on the hand, and that's his left hand. Something that the authorities would look at and also take a peek at. Just wanted to point that out. All right, Ed, I want to thank you for taking out the time for you, spending here 2 days. It's your birthday weekend. You just turned 61 yesterday, and I like to say 31. But thank you for being here 2 days in a row. It shows the level of how dedicated you are to our community, how we as a team are dedicated, because you're my brother in blue, and it's always great to spend time with you, even though we got a lot of stuff going on. Sleuthy Goosey, she couldn't let it go. Not let it go, but she couldn't let us go without asking another question. And I love that she asks a lot of questions, because she is really, she looks to get as much as she can and dig and get as much information as she can. She says, how long will that stuff be viable for? And I think you already answered that, Ed.
Well, it depends on the weather swings between night and day, and any rain, any precipitation or anything. So you'd have to search the weather for that community. Again, the indigenous wildlife, given the clothing she was wearing, right? Shorts, and she was wearing Crocs, and a hoodie.
Yeah.
So certain areas of the body will be more protected than the others from the indigenous wildlife and the insects and so forth. But
this is a tough case because it's involving a child. It's a tough case because it's involving a human being that was, not only murdered, and we don't even know how she was murdered, right? We don't know the cause, manner of death, but she was sexually assaulted. And that's what makes it so painful. And it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart.
My guess is either blunt force trauma or strangulation.
Yeah. However it was, I hope it was quick and she didn't suffer. Lady Dog Lover, aka Jean, how could this could buy a cup of coffee or a donut to share?
Love 10 pounds. Thank you. Cheers, as they say. Cheers.
And Lieutenant Pete and Richella sends in a $20 super chat, and Lieutenant Pete, retired NYPD lieutenant, Harlem Raiders, sends in 20. She said, belated birthday wishes to Ed. Great coverage, Ron and Ed. Love Pete and Richella.
Yes.
I
Love you guys.
gotta get out to Suffolk and have a meal with them, and I hope you'll join me too when I do that.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, let's take them out to dinner. I would be honored to bring them over to anywhere. There's a little local place where we go. I don't want to give it away because we'll have thousands of people show up there wanting autographs from you, Ed. Anyways, thank you all for joining. If you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up. We gifted out like 30 or 25 memberships. I hope you guys enjoyed the free 30-day trial of the memberships. I'll be going live on the memberships tomorrow, later in the day, because I got a whole honeydew checklist. It's a long laundry list of things I have to take care of in the yard. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. If you're sharing this video, make sure you share it out to the platforms and tag DutyRon and Ed in it. We greatly appreciate it. Ed, I know you always have something to say at the end of these things, and we'll end it with you.
I really want to thank you all for being here today and spending your valuable time with us and choosing DutyRon and Ed Wallace for your true crime fix. Yeah, I feel like a drug addict here. I mean, a drug dealer. I'm selling you, drugs to get you high on true crime here, right? But that said, listen, folks, spread the word about us. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let your friends and family know about the channel. If you like us, please give us a thumbs up. And as always, folks, stay safe, stay prepared, and always watch your six.
Thank you for that, Ed. And guys and girls, we always want to send prayers, strength, and positive vibes to the people in the affected areas where this happened. Because as you know, law enforcement, EMS, paramedics, anybody who's responded, all that were involved in this, they are all affected. So prayers and strength to them. Maddie Soto, may she continue to rest in peace. I'm just, again, asking everybody to please do not go after the mom. Do not go after anybody that is connected to this. Let the wheels of justice, let the active law enforcement, Ed and myself, we wouldn't even try to contact any of these people. Let the detectives and let the people who need to do their job bring justice for Madeline. Madeline deserves it. So stay out of it and leave everybody alone. Just let the wheels of justice take its turn. Good night from New York City. We appreciate you. We love you. We respect you all. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace and love from Ed and Ron. Thank you, guys.